Moving on now, according to reports, the outlawed Kurdistan Workers Party, or PKK, has made historic decisions at a congress in northern Iraq following a call by its jailed leader to disband and disarm. The PKK is a Kurdish nationalist terror organisation founded by Abdullah Ocalan in the late 1970s. Although the PKK initially advocated for the creation of an independent Kurdish state, it later moderated its goals to seeking greater autonomy for the Kurdish people. While the group hasn't officially confirmed whether it will formally dissolve, the move could mark a turning point in its decades-long conflict with the Turkish state. The disbanding could potentially end a 40-year insurgency. Turkey's President Erdogan's government and the pro-Kurdish DEM Party both welcomed the development, urging a shift from weapons to dialogue. If confirmed, the PKK's disbandment could open the door to peace and economic growth in southeast Turkey and boost security across the wider region, including Syria. Well, joining us to discuss this development is Keith Vaz, a former UK minister, who is joining us from London. Keith, thank you very much for being here with us today. Let's first look at the PKK. Could you provide our audience with some more context on the PKK, their journey and the importance of this potential disbandment?
Good afternoon, Joshua from London. This has been a very long journey for the PKK. And just in case people think this is just limited to a region of Turkey, this of course also includes, as you have said, parts of Iraq and Syria. And therefore it's a much, much bigger issue for the whole of Europe. We have a large Turkish community here living in the United Kingdom, and there is a very large number of people supporting the PKK, the aims and the ideals of the PKK. So this goes back many, many years, as you've said, 40 years. But during that time, 40,000 people have lost their lives in this struggle from the PKK to try and gain autonomy from Turkey. So if this is correct, and I think as yet we've not had a written statement to that effect, we've heard that there is a historic development. If indeed this is correct, and there's always a difference between, a statement being made and practical consequences. If this is correct, then this is very good news for peace in Turkey and indeed in the whole region. And that will mean that the diaspora communities all over Europe, not just in the UK, will be able to accept that this contest, this problem is over and everyone works together for peace. Of course, tied to this is the fate of Abdullah Ocalan, who is the leader. He made a call for this to happen a few weeks ago, and now this has happened. The conclave, if you like, the meeting of the PKK has taken place in secret, and they have made this decision. So I think it's something that has already been welcomed by all, because the news will have brought relief to the Turkish government, I think to the Turkish people, and to the communities beyond Turkey. It's quite a different story to the story you originally covered at the start of this bulletin about India and Pakistan, which has been going on for almost the same length of time, not the violence that we're seeing at the moment, but certainly the dispute between those countries. So it is something that is very welcome indeed.
Yes, Keith, as somebody who has been deeply involved in politics, of course, as a former UK minister, how do you think the Turkish government and Erdogan will be receiving these reports, and how much of a relief will it be for them as well that a section of their country may be away from potential violence?
I think they'll be absolutely delighted, and they must be following the developments very carefully indeed. The PKK, of course, does not support the current Turkish government or indeed the Turkish state. So there are lots of other parties that they oppose, as well as the party of President Erdogan. And I think what they would want to see happen is this being brought to fruition. Part of this, I think, probably does include the release of the leader to make sure that there is a profound peace. You want a lasting peace. You don't want something that's going to be there for a very short period of time. But this is one of those big conflicts in Europe. Turkey very much at the center of Europe now. And one of the reasons why, I suppose, Turkey has found it difficult finding a way into the EU has been because of this separatist movement. I remember as Minister for Europe going over to Ankara and having these discussions with the Turkish government when they started opening their chapters to join the EU many, many years ago, 20 years ago. So they will be relieved. It will mean they can divert attention to the real problems that the Turkish people are facing at the moment. The economic situation there is very challenging. And the last thing the president wants is to have some kind of armed conflict going on. So we're moving in absolutely the right direction. More needs to be done before we start officially celebrating, but this is a very important move forward. And I will be interested to hear what the Turkish diaspora is saying in the United Kingdom once this news filters out across the community.
Keith, I wish we could talk for longer, but unfortunately we are out of time. Thank you very